growing up as a teenager, what bands blew your head off?
Sex Pistols, Ramones, Kiss, Aerosmith. Those are always my go-to bands. I'll get something new and I'll dig it for a while. And then also sticking a Ramones record again, you know?
Yeah, it's like the 10 Desert Island Discs, huh? You grab like the best of Ramones.
Absolutely.
All the best.
Yeah, man.
That's incredible. So mixing this hard rock, this punk attitude, this dealing with all this craziness in the music business, you know, what fuels you? I mean, coming up with these songs, what was always your inspiration?
It was energy, lots of energy, and that kind of comes across in Skid Row songs, you know? I don't get into a lot of, I mean, I listen to everything, but the stuff that really gets me off is the high energy stuff, like punk rock, a lot of punk rock bands, a lot of hard rock bands, and metal. That's just always been my thing.
Sure. I mean, what were the first shows? I mean, it's one thing to be listening to records. You go live, you pay your ticket, go in there, and the spectacle. Which were the
first concert
shows?
I ever saw was Kiss. I saw them at the Philly Spectrum in 77 or 78, and actually Billy Squire's old band, Piper, opened up for him. And like that was my first concert when they came on. When Piper came on, I was like, oh my God, these guys are so loud. This is awesome. You know, I felt the volume.
It's like a jet engine taking off.
Exactly. And then when Kiss came on, my life was changed.
Oh my God.
You know, I was into what I only heard stuff, you know, and then when I actually saw them in the flesh, my life was changed.
Yeah, it was theater, it was superheroes, it was all that in one.
Exactly.
Incredible. I mean, we're celebrating the release of the documentary. I don't know if you've seen it on Alice Cooper. Super duper Alice Cooper. I mean, the original band. Talk about that. School's Out, 18.
Yeah, the School's Out album in particular is one of my favorite Alice records. I used to steal it out of my sister's record collection.
Swipe it.
To it, crank it in my room, and then and Killers was another great one.
Oh yeah, Under My Wheels, all that.
You open it up and has the calendar and him hanging. I actually brought it into school for show and tell.
I mean, talk about School's Out. It's like a desk. You open up the desk, all the etchings, panties around the desk. I mean,
it was great when I had the chance to write with Alice Cooper, and we wrote at my house. And when I used to live in New Jersey, and I went right in, I pulled that out, and I was asking him all kinds of stuff. I was like, "What is that? What is that? What is that?" That I couldn't tell all those years. I couldn't really see what it was, and he told me everything was great.
He gave you the keys, so now you can enjoy it to its fullest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great about a documentary like that to be able to, you know, appreciate music and then find out the stories behind it.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I mean, growing up, I know, you know, these bands were larger than life to you, and it's amazing when you realize these are just people, and they're writing songs, and they're clicking the same 6 strings or 4 strings, and you know, it's what you do with that. I mean, you know, I was just listening to Ramones the other day, and that music is timeless.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and it's influenced.
And they never got the credit that they deserve either.
Influenced millions of bands. I remember when it came out, and then Warner Brothers stuck them out on tour, opening for Black Sabbath in the '70s. Black Sabbath audience, that they weren't ready for the Ramones, man. It was.
Other than Kiss, I've probably seen the Ramones the most. Every time, because they used to play up in the tri-state.
Yeah, talking about high energy. People were pogoing up and down. They weren't slamming into each other and putting each other's eyes out.
Exactly.
You know?
And then I became friends with Joey, and we covered Psychotherapy on an EP that we did. And
wow.
You know, just to say that I was friends with the guy is still such an honor.
I mean, talk about that. I mean, what vibe did you feel? What did you glean from Joey the Kid?
He was just an enigma. You know, he was so down to earth, and to me, so larger than life. And he was such a big dude, just in stature. You know, and when he would just call me out of the blue, and I'd still, you know, be like, God, Joe Ramone is on the phone. You know, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, who's punking you, man? Who's really on the phone?
Exactly. But yeah, it was really cool to hear from him and go check him out. Yeah, it was awesome.
Incredible. I mean, that music, the Pistols. I mean, they were only together. It seemed like a couple years, but the timeless music, the attitude in, you know, those chords and that snarl. I mean, that's incredible. So I know you're celebrating so many incredible albums, so much great music over the years. You know, there's the classic rock fans, there's the people that follow you. Tell us about the new music. What keeps you fueled? What are you most proud of with the new music?
Well, the thing with the new stuff, we're releasing a series of 3 EPs, and the first one came out last year, United World Rebellion Chapter 1, and we went it sounds like a cliche, but we went back to our roots, and it wasn't as easy to find after 24 years, a 24-year career. It's really hard to retrace your steps, but we managed to do it, and all the reviews kind of said it picked up where Slave to the Grind left off and stuff like that. Our new one's coming out August 5th in the States, and it's called Rise of the Damnation Army, United World Rebellion Chapter 2, and it's got the same, just that ferocious vibe to it.
Wow. Wow. And where are you recording these days?
In Georgia. I live in Atlanta,
Yeah.
and we've recorded the last 2 EPs at Jesse James from Jackal, his studio in Kennesaw, Cock of the Walk Studios.
We're talking the raw sound, the analog, the whole deal. Huh?
Yeah, and Jeff Tomei, it was the engineer on it.
Yeah.
Who did so much stuff from Jackal to Smashing Pumpkins, and he's a great engineer, and we just had a blast with him.
Yeah, I mean, people don't realize if you go back to the roots of these bands we love and who they loved and came before them, you're talking about places like Memphis and Nashville and,
Right.
Chicago.
Yeah.
This is where so much of that music came out that even influenced Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones,
Right. Yep.
the Beatles, I mean, it's
sure.
insane, where it all comes around. So you caught a little of that vibe with that down-home feeling down there. What do you love about the Southeast? Why do you end up there?
I ended up there. I got divorced and just wanted to get out of New Jersey, so I went south. I used to race stock cars quite a bit, so that's kind of, the South is the hub for it. And but we've been touring so much, I haven't really got a chance to race in a while. But that was the main reason I went down there.
Yeah.
And I just like it. It's a little more laid back than the Northeast, although I do miss the Northeast. I miss New York City quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's a cool energy down there. There's some good rock pockets of rock scenes here and there, and it's still alive and well for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Now let's talk about your partner in crime, Mr. Snake over here. What is it about this cat that you guys have been rocking this long and keep you guys energized?
Man, we think a lot alike, and we know each other's strengths and we know each other's weaknesses. So when we get together and write a song, we never just settle because we don't want to hurt each other's feelings. You know what I mean? We don't worry about that. We're like, it's all for the good of the tune and all for the good of the band.
Whatever it takes.
That's always worked, and being best buds, it helps out a lot. And we've had serious arguments, but I could count on that guy for absolutely anything.
Wow. Well, I know with his mind, he's dabbling. He's got the management thing going now and all that.
Right.
What does that bring to the band? Is there any help in doing what you guys do now?
Well, him and I manage Skid Row now. We have for a long time, and it's we've been in the business for 25 years, so we kind of know the ropes. And with him managing through McGee Entertainment, we have resources there, and it helps us out a lot.
So he's still got that going. The
Right.
band's alive and well, doing new projects. You got the third volume coming up. Where does Sights go? What haven't you done? What do you still want to do?
Man, we I don't know. We got a lot going on. We're going to play this festival, headline a festival in Poland this year. It's 500,000 people. It's going to be the biggest show of our careers. It's not going to get any bigger.
Just going to look out and you can't see past the people.
You can't see the end. And we're looking forward to that.
What's the date on that?
The date is July 31st.
Wow.
In Poland. And
What is it about music that's such a universal language that,
I don't know.
you go?
It just is, man. I mean, you said it. It's a universal language.
You dropped a
People-
needle, and you don't need a translator.
People just
you know what I mean?
communicate through
If
that,
you feel the
you know?
vibe, they could be singing in French or German or
Exactly, and it's
whatever.
You communicate through music, man. It's the best job I ever had.
Joey Ramone could have been rapping in Japanese. It still would have been great.
Right.
I mean, it's incredible.
Interesting, but great.
I mean, it's just incredible that the music lives on. Like I say, you guys have been through and seen so many trends come and go, but the music is solid. Again, what advice do you give to that young band? Is there somebody in a garage right over here right now? There's somebody in your audience tonight that says, I'm going to go form a band tomorrow. What advice do you give them? What do they got to concentrate
Play
on?
from the soul, man. You have to play from the soul. You have to like what you're doing before anyone else will, and you have to be true to yourself. That's what we always did. We'd have arguments with labels and about songs, and it's like, hey man, this is how we write. This is us, and this is what we do. And thankfully we're on 2 labels now that let the band be the band. You know what I mean? And it was pretty much that way back in the day, but there were times where you become a product, and that's not our vibe. We're like, well, this is, we might be your product, but we're not our product. This is us. This is our life's blood.
Yeah, it
this
was
is our
not
blood,
real.
sweat,
I
and
can't
tears,
stand behind it.
Exactly. So it's like we couldn't play in a pop band, because nothing wrong with pop. I love pop, but it's not for us. We couldn't
You're not
have
a ballad
else,
band.
Right. We couldn't have someone else write our songs.
Yeah. You don't need the Diane Warren giant produced, soundtrack tune. That's not what you do.
We're just dirty rock and roll.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about drawing from the roots of Nashville and Memphis and good old America, and then all those British bands, and you mix it with that punk attitude that came from New York, I mean, it's a fire that could light you forever.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's just it's in our blood. It's not. We didn't get into music. Music got into us.
Yeah.
From the day we shot out of our mom's birth canals.
I mean, what an amazing history, that you guys came through, and you see it full circle. I mean, what's the difference? And back in the day, you had MTV. MTV could put you in every living room tomorrow. How do you get around that?
Well, we're lucky enough to have the nostalgia aspect with us, and the fact that we have transcended generations. People are bringing their younger brothers and sisters and their children to our shows, and we're lucky enough to have that. Not a lot of bands can have that luxury, or lucky enough to have that happen to them. And I didn't ever think that would happen to us, and it's just something really cool about it, that you see a dad out there with his Skid Row shirt, and he's got his son on his shoulders or his daughter on his shoulders, and they're rocking out with the headphones on to protect their ears, and there's something really cool about that, man. And it's just, we're very fortunate. Very fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, seeing those generations, as bands progress. I mean, even following the Ramones' career, they were at a point where they ended up having to open for White Zombie and stuff. I remember Rob Zombie saying, "Hey, Johnny, I'm embarrassed." It's just, it's the culture, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We might be selling tickets more than you right now, so. But it's amazing, that the music, is really what you guys are rooted in, and you're not following a trend, and you do what you do. So there's no expiration date. You could do it forever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. Now on a show and a tour like this, what can we expect? Obviously, like I say, you got those generations that passed that know the band, but you got this younger generation. How do you explain to these new kids that never saw a video, never heard of the band, what you're all about? Because even dirty rock and roll, they may not understand. How would you invite them to your world?
Just through music, man. I mean, you can't talk to everybody, but if they come to see you, they get it. They'll
It's
get
the vibe.
Yeah, it is. It totally is, and it's communicating through music, and that's kind of how it started with us. People came to see us, and they either liked us or they walked out hating us. But you could see younger kids, like we get a lot of teenagers at the show, and they're just totally into it, and it's a really good feeling, man, to be able to do that.
Yeah. And with the business now, forget about the upside or what isn't no longer around. What are the advantages of being independent out there in a world where the gatekeepers aren't even necessarily in your way anymore?
Well, being around for 25 years is a big help, because of the nostalgia aspect of it. And some people come to hear those 6 songs that were always on the radio, or 6 or 7, whatever it was. And then you have ones that just come to get that and more. We sell a ton of CDs at our shows. They both do well on retail and downloads. And it's, it's changed in the way that we are still, it's being a national, kind of a national indie act, which is weird, because we did have so much commercial success in the past.
Right.
And that's a big help.
Yeah. But I mean, the advantage is you can call the shots. You can decide creatively what you want to do.
Absolutely.
And even business-wise, you want to tour or not.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what's the exciting thing for you? Why do you still tour to this point?
Because we love it. It's for the love of the music.
The energy coming back. I mean, what the songs were made for.
Yeah, we love it. I could do this, or I could flip burgers. Those are my skills. That's my skill set. I flip burgers in my backyard.
Let them flip the burgers, man. You rock, man. We appreciate it, Rachel. You guys are incredible. You're an inspiration to all these other bands out here, and we hope it lasts forever.
Right on, man. Thanks.
Thank you.